Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about 7 heroes that people use wrong. So we got a nice little list of 7 here, going from carries, Juggernaut, all the way down to Dazzle. And yeah, I just want to discuss what people could do better, because obviously I've been examining a lot of trends for the past, I don't know, years of coaching people and making videos and watching, games of various brackets. And so I see things that people do commonly that they need to stop. Things that they need to change. So if you're excited for today's video and you want to help support us, it does mean the world. It helps our channel grow. Smash the like button. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As well as comment down below what hero people play wrong. People play techies wrong? Yes. Just by picking techies, they play techies wrong. All right, let's get into it.
Oh, and guys, I forgot to let you know, I know you're struggling to gain MMR. Still, okay? I understand. But I have the solution for you. The GAMELEAP website has thousands of pieces of content that you guys can watch to get to the next level. Also, every day, actually every day, I make a new video. Literally every day. And so if you are like, okay, the YouTube videos aren't enough, I need more, I need stuff to, kind of solidify my views on the game, you need to click the link down below right now and sign up. It's super important. It also helps out us, right? We put a lot of effort into the videos we create here for free on YouTube. And so yeah, sign up to GAMELEAP website to start gaining MMR and to support your boy Speed. And now let's get into the video.
Alright, so for the first hero on the list, we have Juggernaut. Yep, Juggernaut. Let's keep it basic, okay? Go over a couple of things that people do wrong on Juggernaut. So there's one in particular that stands out to me. Actually, there's 2 in the laning stage that really blow my mind, okay? Number 1 has to do with spin, and number 2 has to do with healing ward. Juggernaut's Blade Fury is a low cooldown when you put a lot of points into it. The great thing about this ability, and the reason why you max it out every game without exception, is the fact that it not only goes down in cooldown, it also goes down in mana cost. Yes, you heard that right, it goes down in mana. Most spells go up in mana when you level them up. Jug? Not the case. So not only when the laning stage progresses do you have a better spin in terms of cooldown and mana, you also should have more gold, and more movement speed, and more ability to trade. And yet, people don't spin more. Think about that. People will spin sometimes less, right? Because they'll just be farming more. They won't go nearly as aggressive. And it's weird to me because spin becomes like probably one of the best laning stage abilities in the entire game. So if you hit level 3 and you have boots, or you're level 5 and you have Fave's boots, just spin on them. At level 3, it's a 26-second cooldown, and at max, it's 18. That's insane. It's nothing. And the mana cost is a mango or less, or a stick, right? You always should have a stick on Jug. And so just spin on people. If you're level 5, harass them. You don't have to kill them. The biggest misconception that people have with Blade Fury is that they have to kill them every time they use it. That's the only time I see people use Blade Fury. It's if they think they can get a kill. Half the time, what you see pros do with Blade Fury is that they'll use it, it will be 3/4 over, and they'll back off. Just chip damage, and then they'll use the remainder of the Blade Fury to reset and farm until it's back up. And then they dominate the laning stage because of this. Because then they easily kill them the next time. They don't have to overcommit and dive. It's a really good strategy. And the second most egregious one is Healing Ward. If you do not take Healing Ward on Juggernaut, you are an absolute psychopath. If you are level 4 on Jug and you do not have a point in Healing Ward, you are playing the hero wrong. Healing Ward is an extremely good spell. It's ridiculously good. It can heal you and your teammate for about 1000 HP at level 1, right together combined. That's crazy. It's a full heal, right? And once again, keep in mind, you're buying stick, you should be buying mangoes and buying stick on Jug, and you're just healing, right? It's genuinely ridiculous. Like, I don't think people realize how crazy this spell is. At level 1, it heals you for 50% of your max health, right? That's how it works, because it lasts for 25 seconds, and it heals you for 2% each second. It's half of your health healed. That's it. Like, it's that good, right? It's a 60-second cooldown for a reason, by the way. This is an extremely good spell. It's like not leveling Metamorphosis, right? I don't get it. Okay, we'll move on to the next hero, but I had to get that out of the way. Take Healing Ward, buy a bunch of mana regen, and you'll do so much better on Jug. Next up on the list, we have one of the most popular carry heroes of the patch, constantly being picked by pros in the first phase. You heard that right, a first phase carry hero. That's when you know they're good. It's like Void and, yep, SVEN. That's the hero, it's SVEN. This hero, as I said, is being first phase picked. It's that good. And the reason for that is no matter how your lane goes, you're gonna get farmed. And you might be saying, oh, but Speed, I don't want a hero that loses lane. Sven doesn't lose lane. He crushes lane as well. This hero is just all around broken. So what do people do wrong on Sven? Why is he in this video, right? You know, the funny thing is the hero is very simple, and yet people do things wrong. So let's go over what they do wrong. Number one is the laning stage, okay? Just because your hero farms a lot doesn't mean you should go aggressive. Let's talk about the skill build. So for Sven, when you're skilling Sven, you have a couple of options, okay? You can max out your stun, which is not really a thing. You could put 2 points in your stun, or you could leave it at level 1. So how do you discern between these three options? Well, maxing out your stun is never really a thing, but the other two are much more common right now. Maxing stun used to be a thing when people would lane for much longer, but that kind of has fallen out of the meta for a while now. But let's get into the other two options. How do you know when you take a second point in stun and when you should leave it at level 1? That rhymed. Wow. Well, how do you know? Okay, so if the lane is going well and you have a lot of kill threat, you're laning with an Ancient Apparition, which is a good combo with Sven, happens to be a good combo with Sven, or you're laning with an Undying, right? You know you're putting a lot of pressure, okay? Then you should take a second point in stun, because it scales well. It goes up in damage by quite a lot. It also goes up in stun duration, and it goes down in cooldown. So it's a great spell to actually take a second point in. The thing is, you just have to discern whether or not you're actually going to be trying to win the lane or not. If you're not, and you're playing defensive, don't do that. If you're laning against, on the offhand, you're laning against a Clockwork Lina lane, and you know they're just going to be running at you over and over and over and over again, and they have way too much magical damage for you to sustain through, well, then you want to max the cleave, because you want to get out of lane as soon as humanly possible. Your stun will basically only be used to secure range creeps in those type of lanes, maybe to harass people a little bit, depending on what your support is. And so the biggest issue, honestly, this applies to most carry heroes, but it's egregious on Sven considering the hero jungles faster than most heroes in the game. But what that is the pure fact that they don't leave the lane. It's crazy. People will be like 0-2 on Sven and they're just TPing back to the bottom lane. Do you understand how bad that is? Pro players, what they do well on Sven is they know when they have to leave. Most carry heroes, this is a good concept to understand. Most carry heroes don't scale that well with early levels. Early levels, okay? That's the key word. And the ones that do are considered lane dominators, Ursa and Monkey King. At level 5, they hit a spike. Jug, he hits a spike. So they're lane dominators. But most of the other carry heroes that are farm-oriented do not scale with levels. That is how it's balanced out. Terrorblade does not really scale that well with levels. He scales okay, but it's not going to help him crush the lane. Typically, yes, you can kill people with meta, but Naga, same thing, not really, you don't scale that well in terms of levels. PA, yeah, Sven, it's not that good, and so on and so on. Alk, same thing. But a hero like Mars, he becomes more and more threatening because his nuke goes up in damage, down in cooldown. He's gonna spam you out. They typically scale well in terms of damage. And yeah, so you need to leave the lane. Just because of that. There you go. Next up on the list, we have TREANT. TREANT Protector. A hero I wouldn't say is too popular right now, but I do think is powerful. The main thing people do wrong is as followed. Number one, they take living armor way too early. If you are winning your lane, or you are laning with a drow, or some hero that can put pressure in whatever the matchup is, if you think you can put pressure, or you know you can put pressure, do not take living armor early. Please, take your Q and 2 points in your leech seed and win the lane. Everyone defaults to living armor. I don't know why. Stop! Stop! If you can win the lane, win the lane. You're losing out on an opportunity to create a huge net worth lead just because you saw some guide where you're like, oh, living armor can globally heal people. Yes, it's not even that much though. Okay, then the second thing people do wrong is that they buy Ags so early. I had a guy in my game recently rush an Ags. Are you kidding me? Buy a Meteor Hammer. Do you understand how bad it is to buy a big item like that is like vision based? Right? It's so bad. It's just bad. It doesn't even help you farm fast because you barely can sustain it, and Overgrowth is like an 100-second cooldown, while a Meteor Hammer lets you one-shot waves is a 30-second cooldown, right? That's just, it's such a big difference. It also gives you mana regen, Meteor Hammer that is, which you need. Ags doesn't. Like, Blink doesn't. Yeah, Blink Rush can be okay in very specific games. Maybe you're position 5 Treant and you have a Phoenix and you have to be able to blink in to save his egg. Sure, but that's very, very niche. Most games, that's not the case, and you should be buying Meteor Hammer. Next up is OMNIKNIGHT. All I want to say about OMNIKNIGHT is that what people are doing wrong right now is they're not playing him in the 5 role. If you guys have been following the pro scene, well, you know what I'm talking about. OMNIKNIGHT is currently one of the most position 5 played heroes in the game. That kind of sounded weird. That was bad grammar, but you get the point. What is the meta right now, okay? The meta is you pick PA, you pick Sven, and you go punch people when they get items. You know who enables that? OMNIKNIGHT in every facet of the game. Heavenly Grace and Purification make your, carry hero that doesn't always want to, or most of the time does not want to put pressure in the lane. It sustains them. It's great. So all of a sudden you have a hero that can sustain, the defensive laning stage of a lot of carry heroes. And in the mid game, when they hit their timing, Heavenly Grace is genuinely a broken spell. It just kind of is. Status resist, a lot of strength, and what's funny is this hero wasn't even being picked even though it hasn't been changed, which is always the funniest thing about Dota to me. Even the pros, they just change their mind. You know what I mean? They're just like, yeah, I think this is good. They're constantly adapting to each other as well. When they begin to realize that, SVEN and PA are being picked every game, well, what do? You pick OMNIKNIGHT, because it's also good against those heroes as well, which is pretty funny. Next up on the list, we have Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman. I can't do it. The main thing people do wrong, it's funny, I even had a student who did this recently, and it's just a habit you gotta break out of. It's buying too many offensive items. Guys, you have to buy defensive items. I don't care if your hero has a bunch of disables, and can solo kill people if you have a blink in them, whatever, and like, you can push time. No, buy defensive items. Aether Lens should always be your first item, like 9 times out of 10, okay? Are there niche situations where you can change it? Yeah, that's how Dota works, but that literally is usually how Dota works. Most of the time you buy like your standard Aether on Shaman, and then some games you're like, I really need a Blink, or some games you're like, I really need a Glimmer, or a Force Staff, like very niche, right? But what people do wrong is like, the most common build that I see that is wrong is Aether, Blink, Axe, and then like Refresher. You're just, like, half the time, they don't even get to the Refresher, or they don't even get to the Axe, because they don't have a Glimmer. Or sure, they get to the Blink, because Glimmer is about the same cost as Blink, but then they'll never get to the Axe, because every fight they just die. They blink in, like, mega far, they'll blink into the enemy team, because they have Aether Blink cast range, and then what's the point of even having Aether? You're already killing yourself. It's the same thing with Lion, by the way. God, everyone, in every pub I've played in on this 3K Smurf account, where we're doing the series, every unranked game I've played for website videos, it's insane. Every time I have a line, they rush Blink. Why? Do you understand your hero first off needs a decent sized mana pool? Yes, even with mana drain, it's nice to have that. And then the second thing is they just blink in and kill themselves. It's like your spells aren't in a 100-second cooldown. You can get more than 1 off. You can actually get 4 off in a fight. You can get 4 lion stuns off. It's crazy. Okay, same thing for Shaman. Next up on the list, we have Legion Commander. The biggest thing people do wrong is they focus too much on dual damage. Everything is dual damage. In fact, I'd like to quickly go back on the Lion thing and create an analogy that works with the Legion. When people play Lion, they will literally finger people that are 2 HP when their finger is in a 160-second cooldown. You can't do that. It's such a grief. And it's kind of the same thing with Duel. Duel's not as bad because Duel's like, 45-second cooldown, and so it's not really a big deal to casually duel people when they're low. That's actually not the point of the video. But the problem, and what I want to relate it to, is that people have an idea of a hero, and then that's all they'll do. They forget all the other fundamentals of Dota that actually get them to become a better player, right? So when they're playing Lion, they won't be like, yeah, I should hold my high cooldown spells for the proper kill, right? Or I need to make sure it's actually valuable, right? You're not going to black hole a hero that is 1 HP just because Black Hole gives you 1 extra idle on spawn. Imagine if that was a thing. Like, you wouldn't do that, right? Because you'd realize, like, yeah, sure, it's good to solo kill people with Black Hole, but not if they're already dead. That's the problem. People will finger someone just because they're like, I need the stack. I need the stack. It's kind of the same thing with Legion. People grief their games because they're just trying to get dual damage. It was funny. I have this, like, memory of this pub I watched a while ago, and this 3K MMR Legion was just running around the map. Like, she dominated her lane, okay? Crushed the lane. Awesome job. And then, all of a sudden, this PA she's against, who's level, like, 4, when she's level 7, just carries the game. Wanna know why? Because the Legion have the opportunity to continue to run at the Phantom Assassin and bully her out of lane and farm, but instead she decided to go try to duel some position 5 Ancient Apparition, who's level frickin' 3, has no impact in the game, and so instead of farming and shutting down the Phantom Assassin, she got 10 duel damage. It's like, 10 damage? You know you can also get 10 damage from farming a Blades of Attack? Like, it's crazy how much people overvalue dual damage. It is great to get dual damage. It's great to get kills based around duel. It is. Cools and duel. It's a cool duel. Kill duel is cool. And yet people just grief their game. So just keep that in mind. And last but not least, we have Dazzle. And to keep it very short and simple, I don't want to harp on it too long. Y'all should keep this in mind. Heal Bomb does not have to be used to do only damage. If your teammate is missing some health, yes, even if they're missing 100 health, heal them. Wow. And I guess, honestly, because I wanted to just really talk about the heal, any healing in Dota is just poorly used. It's funny that people will only heal themselves when they're like below half. No! Pros will eat tangos when they are missing like 50 health just because they anticipate taking more damage and they want to be able to trade because whoever has more health can commit to the trade for longer. And when you can commit to the trade for longer, whatever the trade is with whatever heroes, you typically win the trade because the enemy has to run away first and you hit them the entire way back. You chase them down, they can't man up. And that's how all of these heroes should work. Dazzle really is just a bigger fender for me because the hero's heal is kind of low. It's a low heal compared to like Warlock heal, right? So for Warlock heal, people will do it earlier, maybe on dying. Even on dying, people are a bit meh about because it also does damage, right? And sometimes with Warlock heal too, people will use it offensively too early when they should be defensively healing their carry who's missing 150 HP. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I think it's just a good learning tip. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and there's other heroes you want me to talk about, let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, by the way, there's a Guess the Rank coming out tomorrow. I have yet to record it, probably. I might have by the time this video comes out. Probably not. So if you want to go submit clips to there, it's in the GameLeap YouTube community tab. I hope to see you guys there, and peace!
But yeah, that's gonna be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the GameLeap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!